Oh boy, it looks like even year Joey Logano is getting hot at the right time. Welcome back to another episode of Talkin NASCAR. I'm your host, Andrew. Hope you're all having a great day. Today, in this episode, we are going to be reviewing the Cookout 400 from Richmond Raceway, the three-quarters of a mile oval in Virginia. So, saw some great racing on Saturday evening. It's been a couple days, coming out a little bit later than usual. I would have this race recap, but been some news from on Monday and Tuesday that I felt like I wanted to do a little bit more than this race recap, but we're doing it now, so let's go ahead and get straight into it. And what better way to start off by talking about the final battle that went on between the two finishers in the top two, Joey Logano and Chase Briscoe. Coming down to it in the final stage, it was clear that Logano and Briscoe, one of those two was going to win this race. They were the best cars out on track. Logano and Briscoe were right in each other's paths. Briscoe out in front, Logano in his tire tracks, running him down. And honestly, it was going to be pretty tough, honestly, to see who would come out on top because, in my opinion, they both were pretty equal on pace. I don't think one was better than the other. I think it was whoever got in front of the other somehow would go on to win. And at that moment, Briscoe, was out in front and leading the way. Logano was keeping him honest. But what really won the race was pit road. The final green flag pit stop cycle. Logano and Briscoe both come down to pit road. And Logano beats Briscoe off of pit road, has a faster stop from that 22 team, gets Logano out in front, and is able to get in front of Chase Briscoe. And Briscoe similarly keeps Logano honest and is continuing to run him down in those final laps. But as time went on, Briscoe's car started to fade just a little bit. It was clear that Briscoe had more of a short run car than a long run car in this one. And from there, Logano was able to hold off Chase Briscoe and go all the way on to win the race. And what a win for Joey Logano, his second win of the season, his second win of the summer. And man, has Logano just been turning it up as of late in the NASCAR Cup Series. Prior to his win at North Wilkesboro, he was outside the top 20 in points. I think he was like 21st in points or maybe 20th. Since then, he's climbed all the way up to ninth after that win at North Wilkesboro and several good races at Indianapolis, had a top 15 at Iowa, earned some stage points there last week, and then gets another win at Richmond. So Logano's been heating up as of late, and even going back to like Chicagoland, had a top 15, got some decent points there as well. So Logano is getting hot at the right time. He's finding the stroke, finding the speed that he needs. Paul Wolf on that 22 team, we know the reputation that this 22 team has. This is a championship combo with Logano and Paul Wolf. The crew has gotten it done over the last couple years. And of course, you can't forget that it's an even numbered year. Logano always does well. He's always in the championship hunt. And for a while, it looked like that wouldn't be the case this year. But it seems like Logano has firmly shut down that speculation and that thought and is saying, hey, nope, even numbered year. I'm still the best. I'm still great. And he's got 2 wins on the year. So shout out to Joey Logano and Paul Wolf and this 22 team for sticking together and staying with it and continuing just to grind it out over the weeks just throughout the summer because it can get a little bit long. I bet that off week though at Indianapolis really did help them and gave them a nice break. And now that we have the final two races left in the regular season before the chase, they set themselves up well to be in championship contention because top 10 in points, in my opinion and many others, is the position you want to be in if you want to compete for the championship, especially if you're like top 7, top 6. Yeah, you're definitely in that conversation. Logano's in ninth right now with the win. We'll take a look at the chase standings in just a moment. But a huge moment for Logano getting his second win of the year. And not to mention, we still have, you know, one more good short track for Logano with New Hampshire this coming weekend. Another short flat oval that, and Penske, has demonstrated over the past few years that they are the best team and the team to beat at the short flat ovals like New Hampshire, like Phoenix, like Richmond. I think there's a good chance that we see Logano go back to back maybe and get another win at New Hampshire and heading into Daytona. He's one of the best super speedway racers in the Cup Series. So yeah, these tracks, shape up well for this 22 team of Logano. So I don't think they're done yet with climbing up through the standings inside the top 10. But let's go ahead and take a look at the rest of the top finishers. In third place, Logano's teammate of Austin Cindric and some of the other Penske cars, Josh Berry ends in 8th place. Had a great day going, had some issues in the middle stretch of this race. Took him out of contention possibly for the win, but still another great result for this 21 team and Josh Berry. 3 consecutive top 10s, and you have a top 5 at Iowa last week mixed in there. And then the pole sitter, Ryan Blaney, finished in 13 and 1 lap down. Started from the pole, but it was just clear in this one that as the night went on, Blaney's car just could not adjust. It only got worse from the beginning. So ended up being a tough night for Ryan Blaney. Ends in 13th place. Denny Hamlin, another Joe Gibbs Racing car, in 4th. Then Chase Elliott and Kyle Larson in 5th and 6th. Both of them worked their way up through the field. And Elliott fell back early on in this one, but was able to work his way back forward through the field in stage 1 and earned some stage points, I believe. Yeah, finished 9th in stage 1, and then stage 2 finished in 7th. So a good day overall for Elliott. And then Kyle Larson, his car just did not have it early on in this race. In stage 1, he was going nowhere. Just did not have the car, did not have the pace to move forward. But Cliff Daniels, his crew chief, used a little bit of pit strategy, got Larson out of the 30s and into the 20s, and Larson was slowly able to start working his way forward and ends in 6th place. So a long day, but it goes right for Kyle Larson and this 5 team that has been just searching for any kind of consistency after what has been a lackluster stretch of races. And Kyle Larson also, after the race, didn't stick around for, talking with the media because he had to get his way over to Knoxville for the Knoxville Nationals, which he ended up winning on Saturday night. So Kyle Larson was busy, but ended up getting a nice result in Richmond and then going to Knoxville and winning there. So good stuff from Kyle Larson. Good result for him. And Christopher Bell started inside the top 10, finished inside the top 10. Good result for Bell. Byron and Bowman, the other 2 Hendrick cars, round out the top 10. Byron started up front, got some stage points. Another solid result for him. Hopefully, he and Larson, with these good results, can find some consistency. Then Alex Bowman. How about Bowman getting a top 10? Just announced his replacement, Connor Zilic, will be taking over the car in 2028. But another solid result for this 48 team of Bowman, who here and there is getting some couple good runs. So I'm expecting maybe Bowman can figure it out towards the end of the year and come on strong next year. Who knows? Tyler Reddick in 11th, similar to Kyle Larson, just did not have the pace early on, but used a little bit of pit strategy. His crew chief of Billy Scott did that for him, and that got Reddick out of the back and more into the middle of the pack and was able to work forward throughout the rest of the race. And then Ross Chastain in 12th, another solid result for this one team. Finished a lap down. Only 11 cars finished on the lead lap. This was another traditional short track race that not a lot happens. There was only like 2 cautions for cause. It was for Zane Smith and for Carson Hocevar, which we'll talk about in a minute. Shane Van Gisbergen in 14th, top 15 for him, and then Ty Gibbs, 15th as well. Gibbs had another pit road penalty, set him back. Couldn't move up through the field as quickly as some of his teammates were, as some of the other cars could. So it ended up being a pretty tough night for Ty Gibbs, finishing in 15th, who he's going to have to clean up these pit road mistakes if he wants to compete for a championship. I think that's the only thing that might be holding him back. Well, maybe not the only thing, but it's one of the big things that are holding him back, in my opinion. So Gibbs has got to clean that up. And then the rest of the top 20, Daniel Suarez, Ryan Preece, that's big for his chase ups, but started in 6th, fell back through the field, only ends up with a top 17, so not great. Noah Gragson just announced that he is coming back to front row next season in the 4-car. Solid top 20 for him. Started pretty much dead last in this one, worked his way up through the field, and then last year's winner of Austin Dillon struggled in this one, finished in 19th. Bubba Wallace had another rough race as well. Chris Buescher, 21st, tough day for him. Connor Zilic started up inside the top 15 and 11th, finished in 25th, so not a great day, but kept the car clean. Brad Keselowski started inside the top 10 and just did not have pace at all in this one. Eric Jones, another guy looking to make the chase, had another long day, finished outside the top 25. He's going to need a lot of things actually to go right at New Hampshire and at Daytona, so we'll have to wait and see on that. Allmendinger started in top 15, faded throughout the rest of the night, just not a good car. Zane Smith was one of the victims of a spin early on, spent some time behind the wall, came back out, but just did not have a lot of pace. And then Carson Hocevar was the only car to DNF in this one. Early on, just struggled with pace, just raw pace once again. Sounded like he had an engine issue in this one. It was like maybe down a cylinder or something. And eventually, Hocevar missed a shift, it sounded like. Maybe downshifted instead of upshifted, and it just blew the motor completely. So he stalled out on track. So tough day for Hocevar. Wasn't having a particularly great day before that, was outside the top 20. Man, he was 5th in points too, and has just plummeted since then. So, yeah, tough day for the 77 and the 38 of Zane Smith and Carson Hocevar. But there you go. As a look at your top finishers from Saturday night's race at Richmond. But taking a look at the chase standings now, a few more drivers locked their way in to the chase. Briscoe, Elliott, and Bell all locked their way in. Chase Elliott jumps back up into 6th place. Briscoe jumps up to 5th. Bell up to 7th. Larson jumps up to 8th. Logano up to 9th. Hocevar back down to 11th place in the standings. Meanwhile, Byron swaps places with Daniel Suarez. Suarez down to 13th, so I mean, it's a 100-point gap pretty much to the last driver in, so uh, crazier things have happened. So Suarez, I don't think is completely safe, but keep an eye out for that at least. Then Wallace, Cindric, and SVG. SVG is now the last driver on the cut line. Ryan Preece is the first driver out in the number 60 Ford. He is 50 points back of Shane Van Gisbergen, which can be made up in 2 races, but he's running out of time. He really is running out of time. Ross Chastain is out by 63 points. He's going to need a lot to go right at New Hampshire and Daytona. Looking at a win, most likely. Keselowski probably needs to win his way, get a win at one of these 2 tracks to even have a chance. Same with Eric Jones and Michael McDowell as well. Allmendinger, Gillen, Zane Smith. Yeah, they're pretty much out of it at this point. So sorry to the 1671 Todd Gilliland and Zane Smith, but yeah, that's how the season has gone for them. So unfortunate, but yeah, really the only drivers that I can see making it are the first 4 out, and it's tough for the 6 of Keselowski and the 43 of Eric Jones, and Chastain and Preece have a lot to work to do as well. All right, but now let's wrap up this episode with the final little part of the race reviews that you've come to know, the race review rating. So man, the Cookout 400. I will say, I like this race a lot more than Iowa 2 weeks ago, because Iowa, yeah, that was a race. I that's all I can say really. But anyways, I like that there was good side by side racing. The thing that really made me a lot really happy with this one is that there were comers and goers and tires mattered in this one. Unlike Iowa, where you could just put on 2 tires or stay out and hold track position. I don't like that. I really don't like that. I like passing. I like tires and disadvantages and advantages. And we didn't see that at Iowa. We did see that at Richmond on Saturday night, and we saw a couple drivers able to work their way up through the field. Chase Elliott started outside the top 10, finished inside the top 10. Most distinctly, you had Kyle Larson and Tyler Reddick work their way up through the field. They had used a little bit of pit strategy to gain like 5 or 6 positions, but from then on, they continued to grind out that race and were able to finish up inside the top 10 and top 15. So that was something that I really like to see. Logano started 10th place, was gradually getting better as the night went on. Blaney, his car gradually got worse as the night went on. And Hamlin, wasn't the dominant car, but was able to grind out a good finish again. And same with Cindric, came from pretty much outside the top 20, finished inside the top 5. So I was glad to see that there wasn't, too much carnage like we saw last year, which was kind of crazy. But at the same time, I was kind of yearning for some excitement out on track. But still, the racing for this event was awesome. I know we had a little bit of rain showers kind of threatening the weekend with the trucks on Friday night getting pushed to Saturday afternoon, but the Cup Series race went off without a hitch, didn't have very many issues. Great racing overall. It came down to, pit road at the end with Logano and Briscoe, but in the end of the day, you got to have a little bit of pit road action to accompany some great racing out on track. So I'm really happy with the Cookout 400 from Richmond Raceway. So I'm going to give it an 84%. I thought this was a really solid race. I've seen a lot of people saying that, this was just average, it was a good, solid Richmond race. I think it was really good. I could be overrating it. I totally could. But I think this was worth a, B minus race. Yeah, I think it was really good. So 84% for me. Let me know down in the comments what you think the Cookout 400 from Richmond Raceway should have gotten for a score. that will do it for this episode of Talkin NASCAR, everyone. Hope you all enjoyed. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you did enjoy it, make sure you follow the show so you never miss another episode. I just posted 2 episodes on Tuesday and Monday, so go check those both out. And if you haven't checked into Talking Sports in a little while, I encourage you, go check it out. Links down in the description below, so you can go click either one of those to the YouTube or the Spotify page to check either of those out. So thank you so much for listening, and I will see you most likely in the next episode of Talkin NASCAR.